In conclusion, would I recommend the AD100? I think obviously you guys can tell by my hostility. Absolutely not. This thing it's a terrible, I don't know what but I decided to be an educational channel and I decided to order one to try it out to give you guys a nice proper review. So today we're going to compare the AD200 to the AD100, and then I'm also going to give you guys a little curveball at the end. Or shouldn't be too surprising, but let's go. Comment on the AD200 videos about how good the AD100 is because I did kind of talk fairly negative about it. Without even playing with it. So I did mention, okay, I haven't played with it, but I was justifying why the 200 would be better in theory. So I got the AD100 because of the size. It's a little bit smaller than the AD200, which I have right here. You know, a little bit smaller. It's that, I guess that part is nice. It's easier to transport. So I honestly really wanted to like this little unit. And for the first shoot, I did, because the first shoot was, I believe it was pretty overcast, or it was later in the day, and I didn't really need as much output out of it. So I was like, sweet, this could be the replacement. This is wonderful. I don't have to carry the big flashes anymore. I can carry two of these little guys and everything's perfect. Life is good. Well, then we had an actual situation where we would actually normally shoot, where it's a little bit more challenging. And that's where the AD200 became my favorite flash once again. And the reason for that is that it's shaped like a trash can, and I'm glad that they did that because it really is. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna shit on this quite a bit on this episode. It's shaped like a trash can, and I'm glad because now it's telling you what it's gonna be. At full power, it's not enough. It's not enough power. I did a photo with high-speed sync, and it just, you know, I had it like really close to the subject, and it wasn't enough. So then I said, okay, let me take off high-speed sync. If I'm using the 70 to 180 at 180 or close to it, it's still gonna give me some blur, and it's gonna be okay. It was still struggling to keep up. And to me, I go, because I've been doing this for so long, I know that the AD200 would have been exactly what I needed, enough power. That's why I did it, because I assumed it was going to give me something similar. I understand 100, 200, obviously there's more power out of the 200, but I figured it would be somewhat comparable and at least give me enough that I can work with, and it just wasn't. So that was strike number one. Strike number two on the same day is during the reception. I was using it, and I'm going to be honest, during the reception sometimes I shoot in burst mode. There's a grand entrance there, and not high burst. I put it in the slowest burst possible. But there's a grand entrance, there's first dance, there's parent dances. I just want to make sure that I capture enough. If they move really quick, if parent dances only last for 5 seconds, which they do sometimes, I want to make sure I at least pop a few and get it. I was probably shooting this thing at like 132nd, 164th, something like that, and it started overheating. And this is what like made me want to grab this thing and throw it against the wall, because I've been using this guy for years. You guys have been seeing videos that I posted, me raving about this thing, and you know what? There's gonna be a few more after this, because that's how much it made me love this even more because of this thing. I'm sending it back, by the way. Just like Michael Scott said, we send it back, so it's going back. Yeah, I mean, that one, I've done full power pops pretty, you know, consecutively, not fast, because we're not dummies. We're not trying to break our equipment. But I don't think I've ever overheated the AD200, because at 132nd, 164th, 116th, you can pop for a while and it's not going to do anything. This one at 132nd, 164th was already giving up on me. And that was the night that I decided this thing is going back. Because let's be honest. Okay, so this is the AD200, and going by that, you would assume 200 watt power. Makes sense. AD100 Pro, you think about 100, which I think on the website, that's what they said. It was advertised as 100, although I saw some websites that said 76 or something like that, but that might have been, I don't know, that might have been incorrect. We're going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and we're going to say that it is 100, right? Maximum watt seconds. Okay, it's 100. All right, so 100 versus 200. Here's the thing, you guys. If that is 100 and that is 200, you would think that, okay, well, this should be half the price. And it's not. This is the same price as this. This goes on sale regularly. So if you keep an eye on Amazon, you keep an eye on Adorama, you're gonna find the AD200 for about $250, $240, something like that. That's a very good price for that, actually. This, you're gonna find it for about $230, $240, $250, $260, around there. So comparably about the same price. Even when it's not on sale, this one's $300, $299. So it's very close. So you're not even getting this for half the price. If it was half the price, fair enough. Okay, that would work. Here's the solution. If I'm gonna get a small-ish flash that is only gonna give me half of the power as this, I might as well go and get a flash that's gonna be about half the price of that, that's gonna work just the same. And that's where this comes along. This is, I almost like to call them disposable because they just work. They're workhorses. And right now I have this thing really tight, or whatever. I mean, it doesn't come off anyway, which is good. We're just gonna leave that on there. This is, I just want to take it off so you can see the size comparison. AD100 versus the TT600. The TT600 is, and I'll explain a few reasons why I would go with this flash over the AD100 if you're using it as a secondary flash. AD200, that's the main flash. $65 for this flash. Here's the beautiful thing about the TT600 is you can set it up to go into, I don't have any batteries in it, but you can set it up to go into receiver mode. So you can set this one up as B. That's why it says B on here, because it just makes it easier for our assistants to know that this is B. B is the backlight, B is the secondary light. So this goes into receiver mode, and you can control it with your remote, or you can control it with another flash, and it's $65. I've been using this thing honestly since because it's still Nikon, actually, the Nikon mount. So I've been using it probably since like 2017, maybe 2018, something like that. And it's still kicking. And I don't think I've overheated this thing. So that's the part that really pissed me off about the 100 is if I don't overheat a little speed light that's $65, why is this thing that's the same price as the 200 overheating on me? And some people are gonna say maybe you're flashing too fast, blah blah blah, whatever. Fair enough, but why is that not happening with this one? And if it's not happening with this one, it's the same price and it's just a little bit bigger. Why the hell am I gonna buy this one? So I know usually I come on here and I'm pretty positive about things and all that, but I really got annoyed by the AD100. If you guys are considering it, I would say don't save your money. Go ahead and get you one of those flashes, or go and get a TT685, which is another Godox flash. The reason that I like that one, and I always recommend that to our photographers, is the TT600 only works as a receiver. The TT685 works as a receiver and as a command. Let's say your remote breaks. This one, or we actually have the newer one, the one with the dial on top, which is the one I recommend. Let's say this breaks, right? If you have a TT685, you can use that as a transmitter and fire off all your other flashes just to get you, through the day. It also works as an on-camera flash, obviously, and it also works as a receiver. So that one's a little bit better, but it's also a little bit pricier. But I would do that as an option, or do the TT600 as, a backup B secondary flash and save some money instead of using this one. This is another tip. The reason I like the TT600 or the TT685 over, let's say, a V1 is because with a V1, it has the proprietary, and I don't have that flash, but it has a proprietary battery. What does that mean? If this battery fails, and that has happened to me years ago, fair enough, but it has happened to me. If on the V1 it fails, you're SOL on a shoot. If your batteries go dead on a TT685 or the TT600, you can go to CVS, you can go to Rite Aid, you can go to any supermarket and pick up AA's to get you through the day. That's the reason I prefer using those over using ones that have that dedicated unit. I know it sounds like, what are the chances of that happening? But hey, it happened to me like 3 times. And it was back in the day when they were still just coming out. But I remember hitting it and then it fried. Then I did another one, hit it full power, and it fried. So yeah, that left a bad taste in my mouth, and that's why I use ones with AA batteries. In conclusion, would I recommend the AD100 I think obviously you guys can tell by my hostility. Absolutely not. This thing it's a terrible, I don't know. If you screw it in too much, it kind of gets in the way of the battery. So it becomes hard to get the battery in and out of this little hole. So I don't know. I hate this thing. This thing is terrible. It's going back. Anyway, we're going to end it on, on such a negative note. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments, you disagree with me, agree with me, whatever, anything, guys. As long as you're respectful, let's have some banter here, right? Yeah, I'll make sure to film another video that's a little more positive. Thank you guys for watching.